GAB CODY. Here we are at an undisclosed location within the Pittsburgh Playhouse, and I am not going to say where. All I'm going to say is, how about this seashell lamp, huh? A theater artist and filmmaker. Does that sum it up? Does that do it justice?
I think so. I also like amateur puppetry.
Oh. This is my amateur. Do I have a career?
Okay, you just stole my one bit.
Now, theater artist and filmmaker, those are two professions that, at least as far as I know, the guidance counselors in high school are not encouraging people to go towards necessarily. So why do you do what you do?
Well, because when I was in 8th grade, I did not take my guidance counselor's advice and
I was right on with that.
And become a scientist.
That's what they suggested for you. Now, why do you think they saw that in your cards?
Let's see, I was shy and bookish.
That's awfully stereotypical for a scientist. I know some that are pretty outrageous.
I know lots of scientists, and they are more outrageous than performers. I keep doing it because I am passionate and curious, and I am perplexed by the world, and I'm trying to sort out the world in the work that I do. So I think that maybe being a scientist would be another way to do that, and perhaps if I could go back in time, I would be a theater artist, filmmaker, and a scientist. But as it is, I think that I'm often confounded by the behavior of people, of politicians, of groups of people who do things that I find to be peculiar or outlandish, and I want to figure out why they're doing what they're doing. And so the act of writing or directing or making a movie is often putting those characters into action and trying to find some sort of empathetic view of them so that I can understand the world, because it's a place I find to be oftentimes very confusing. The beginning of a play or a screenplay or anything that I write is always a question, something that I'm grappling with, and that question normally leads me into a character or a series of circumstances.
The delivery of a play from your, the inner workings of your mind, your spirituality, everything that it takes to put that story together, put it on paper, and see it fleshed out on stage. That's an experience, and the emotional reward of that experience is, I think, something that only playwrights truly know. It's there aren't a lot of other professions where you follow a course like that and see something delivered back to you, interpreted by a team of artists, directors, actors, and this is something you've experienced many times. How is that experience for you, and does it differ from production to production?
It absolutely differs from production to production. Each production is like having another child. It's painful, it's exciting, filled with exuberance, but it takes a lot of effort, and each of those children are very different from one another, all part of the same family, but very different. So I think every theater experience I've had has been unique. I try to keep, for myself, some common denominators, and that has to do with an approach to the work, because I come from an improvisational background. I actually come from first a classical background because I studied at North Carolina School of the Arts in their conservatory. So I had a very traditional classical training, but that actually included a lot of non-traditional physical approaches. And I say non-traditional in the sense that right now I don't feel like people are using physical approaches towards theater as much as I wish they were. So I think that each time I approach a play, I want it to be physical theater. I don't believe in this difference between theater and physical theater. I think all theater is physical. I think I bring the background of improvisation, which is in the decades now of improv experience that I have. And I love improvisation, and I love bringing both the spirit of improvisation into the ensemble. So working together with the ensemble, literally doing warm-ups, doing exercises, working together, And then also bringing that spirit of play into the work, which I think is really vital, and which is the difference between a work which is alive and one that is not.
So picture it. Prussia, 1866. This is your most recent work that is playing here at Pittsburgh Playhouse through February 22nd. And we're at a very interesting time in the production right now. Because I think officially opening night is...
Tomorrow
So
night. We're in
in
previews.
And have you been...
This is why I have the curls.
Oh, was that tension that made it curl?
These are not for you. Thank you for that. No, it was the relaxation. Normally there's so much time.
Very good.
No, they're for the show tonight. Yeah, so we're on preview.
How are you feeling right now?
I am so looking forward to doing the play in front of an audience, because a comedy, as anyone who's ever done a comedy will tell you, is a dialogue between you and the audience. So we've been having a monologue as the cast, and so we're looking forward to having a conversation with the audience. You know, in my dream world, we would preview for 3 weeks and then open, because comedies have to be modulated with that conversation with the audience. But as it is, I'm excited and delighted and so grateful that this production is happening. The costumes are fantastic. The set is beautiful. The actors in the ensemble are hilarious and wonderful, and we're all having a great time. So I'm excited, and I'm really also curious. I'm really curious to see how it plays over the next couple of days, because it's a world premiere and it's never been performed in front of an audience. So I'm filled with a lot of scientific curiosity.
There's that scientist again. See, that guidance counselor wasn't completely off base, you know? So we can expect certainly a farce, is how it has been described, and period farce. We get that from the title.
I love the idea of Prussia because it doesn't exist anymore, and so it's almost a fantasy location. I mean, it was a real place for hundreds of years, but no one really knows what it is. It's almost like a magical location in which a farce could be set.
What do you wish for the observers of this play to walk away with after having seen it?
I wish for them to walk away with a wonderful conversation starter that takes them into the night and to a restaurant where they sit around and argue and debate about life and love and theater, and talk about how much they laughed and how they haven't laughed that long and hard in a long time. And you know, I also like joie de vivre, so I definitely want people to go away with a sense of joie de vivre, and to be stimulated and agitated and you know, driven into a place that they weren't when they went to the theater.
And Lord help them if they fall asleep, which they will not.
Brian, you can come to the theater. We'll give you a special costume, and we'll give you a little zapper.
I would love that. Okay,
it's a deal. I can get you in. You know, I think even when you do magnificent work, there will be someone who drank too much and ate a steak. So
now that might be me, but I'll be awake, damn it.
No, I can't say those words. There were a lot of bad words that I just took out of that sentence for you.
Oh.
Pre-edited.
Well, on my account, please. I mean, I'm sure I've heard them. In one sentence.
Oh, God bless you.